All right, we're going to go to line one now and speak to Chief Simeon Tshakapesh from Netrashish. Good evening, sir. Hello.
Hello, Pete.
How you doing?
Pretty good, Pete.
Welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Pete.
What's on your mind tonight, sir?
Lots on my mind today. I got headaches.
Oh, no.
Migraine pills.
Okay.
But anyway, the reason I called Pete tonight, I spoke to you very briefly about the policing in Netrashish.
Yes.
For the last few years, I don't know how much time you're going to give me tonight, but I want to go back a little bit of history, what's been happening in Davis Inlet at that time.
Okay.
And there's also there is, I think, what I saw, it's the level of force used upon my people, and also how people were treated in the old days, like in Davis Inlet. And used to be the RCMP used to police in Davis Inlet, and they used to kick the doors. They used to use so much force when they arrest people. When I was young, I witnessed all that stuff. And it's still today, as we speak today, Pete, and that's still going on. In back 2009, we called a public meeting on the concerns of how people are being treated by the police. And I still have the full disclosure package that I prepared to the minister's office, to the federal office, to the federal office, to federal ministers of justice, ministers of justice. Mm-hmm. That never went anywhere. As a matter of fact, I'm still waiting for their reply today, and I haven't got any response from them. And as today, there are more complaints has been come forward. People has been bringing their the concerns how they've been treated when they're arrested, and the level of force that's been used upon them. And I think the police are being using excessive force where I can use one example, an individual complained that he was pepper sprayed, and after the fact that he was being used a force on him.
Would you say it's getting worse then? It's worsening the treatment that you're seeing or hearing about?
I mean, how do you define the worst when somebody tells you, Chief, this person was pepper sprayed, and the person that he approached at the RCMP, you don't need to do that to use force on him after you pepper spray him. And he said to the Mountie, well, I'm going to let the chief know. I'm going to tell the chief what's happening here. And then he got charged with altering threats to the peace officer. So how do you define that? How do you judge that situation?
Well, all I'm wondering is do you feel that the number of cases is increasing and the description of the force worsening in your estimation recently?
I think the description of the level of force it's been used upon the people in Netrashish alone, and not to mention Shajishi. I don't know what's the stories like there with the RCMP. And yesterday, before I flew to Goose Bay, I went to visit people there, and one of the things that came up during my visit to the people, they told me that somebody was slammed on a concrete floor in the RCMP, in the hands of the RCMP. So, and also there was some push and shoved incident that I was told, and I have a very credible witness on that. And how that they're going to get away with that kind of stuff when somebody actually witnessed it. But we have launched some investigations and filed complaints. But all those complaints, I can tell you today, looked at, and we'll update you, that kind of stuff, and that's not good enough. There are some incidents.
Do you feel you don't have any recourse? You don't have a mechanism to challenge the behavior of the police?
No, there is no mechanism. The only mechanism we have, we can launch the complaints, but after we launch the complaints, there will be an investigation, but nothing is ever going to come out. But what do we need to do now to be heard? Do we have to be really confront the RCMP? What's going on? Or do we have where do we go from here? I feel like I'm ready to say, RCMP guys, you got to stop what you're doing at this time. The way you treated the people in Natoshish, that's got to stop. Somebody's got to stop. And I think I have contacted the human rights in St. John's. I have contacted the federal side. What do I need to do these people to be heard?
Well, I'm just wondering
what do we need to do? What do we need to do to be heard?
What does the federal representative there, Mr. Panashwe, say about this? Have you approached him on it?
Well, I have not approached Mr. Panashwe on this. But what do we need to do, Pete? Where do we go from here?
That would seem to be a logical.
We go to the RCMP, and it's not happening. We're not getting the justice that these people are being abused.
But don't you think your federal representative is a logical place to start? I would have thought you've gone to Mr. Panashwe before now.
No, I haven't gone through that process. But I went through the process where people need to complain, and after we lodged a complaint, but those complaints are going to be investigated by the police force, their own police force, and that's not good enough. And that's not good enough.
No, I agree.
There should be a royal commission or an inquiry done, or I think it's time where province, the premier has to step in and say, guys, what's going on in Natoshish? Why are these people complaining about? But I have incidents, I have documents after documents that people question. There's so many incidents that transpired with the Innu people and our RCMP.
Well, Mr. Tshakapesh, I agree that if you have ample evidence that there are many, many cases of this, alleged abuse going on, then it is time for someone to take a look at it and to get some answers. But I'm thinking that your fastest route to the federal government, to the Prime Minister's office, if necessary, is through a man who's in the cabinet. And for some reason, you're telling me you haven't approached him and talked to him about it.
Well, we have done that, Pete. We have done that 2009. I went to the province, I went to the feds, I even went to police commission. Yes,
but Mr. Panashwe wasn't in there in 2009.
Yes, but what are you saying to me, Pete?
I'm telling you that that's...
Aboriginal person got to be in a province before these concerns are being heard? That's not the fact. That's not... Well, there shouldn't be no question about that.
I'm saying right now that your federal MP is in a position to help you out, and he probably has as good an understanding and appreciation for what you're saying as any representative you've ever had, so that would be the logical place to go to get some action.
Yeah, yes, but it doesn't need to be that way. There is a process that should transpire, right?
Yes, well,
if you have a problem with the RCMP, are you going to go to your MP or are you going to go through the process first?
Well,
and that's the kind of stuff.
Well, you're right. There should be a process. You shouldn't have to. But if it's not working, then eventually, yes, that's where I'm going to go because I've exhausted all of my other options.
That's what I'm going to be doing, yes. Yeah. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I will be sending you some facts and documentation. That way you educate yourself what I'm talking about. Then you'll see what I went through the process.
Okay.
You will see the letters. You will see the complaints. You will see all that stuff. I have a full disclosure package.
Okay.
But that's somewhere down the line. It's got to stop.
No question.
We're not doing that to the group anymore. We're educated now, and our parents didn't have any education at that time, so they're being abused and they're being manipulated. But today we have young people who got education, who can speak the language, and I'm one of those people today.
Absolutely.
And I'm a former member of the RCMP under the Special Constable section, and also I'm a former tribal police, so I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely. No citizen in this country should have to suffer that kind of abuse, and you're right. You should not have to go to that level to get some satisfaction on it, but, I mean, you do what you have to do, and that's, to me, it seems like the logical next step, because I'm not doubting that you've done everything else that you're supposed to do.
Yeah, but look at another example, prime example with Musquat Falls. We said we were going to give them the opportunities. That's not happening. People think they can walk all over the Innu. It's not going to happen. You're going to have a resistance from the young people, and the people are not going to tolerate this kind of treatment. And I think that's enough. I think we're done with that. We're not going to be taking advantage anymore. This has got to stop, and I think it is about time that people start speaking out, and I'm one of them, but I'm not the only one. But you're going to hear more young people, young leaders are coming up, and they're They got a background education. They're going to be talking. They're going to be arguing with the government.
Well, that's what has to happen.
And I'm saying I can't go on like this. People can complain, and they're going to be investigated, and nothing is going to come out. So that's got to stop. So I think that's got to stop. An inquiry has to be done, and humanoids got to be involved, and that's it. Okay,
Mr. Bashway, really appreciate your time tonight, and by all means, keep us informed and on top of what's happening.
And I am Mr. Tshakapesh.
Oh, sorry, what did I say?
I don't know what you said.
No, Mr. Tshakapesh. I thought that's what I was saying. Did I get it wrong, or?
I didn't catch it at the end, but read your transcript.
Okay, thanks very much.